From Creamer Media in Johannesburg, this is the Real Economy Report, our top stories this week. We look at one of the tools Eskom is hoping to use to close its 115 billion rand funding shortfall. The new road substation in Midrand is handed over to City Power. And FanRide offers dedicated transport for 2010 FIFA World Cup fans. Eskom will soon disclose details of a plan designed to close funding shortfalls related to its committed capital program worth 553 billion rand. TERENCE offers some insight into one possible funding instrument, the sale of a stake in the CHRISTY project.
There is much skepticism about whether Eskom will indeed be able to generate investor appetite for a minority stake in its 141.5 billion rand CHRISTY project, currently being built in Mpumalanga. Chief Officer Generation BRUYN has assured us that there is indeed interest in the transaction, but he admits that this interest comes with risk and return caveats.
We have had a roadshow of over a week where we toured. I've done US and Europe. Paul has been in Asia. We've spoken to numerous investors. A lot of excitement, provided we can deal with appropriate returns. And now we have the answer as to the expectation thereof. For an investor, you would have to offer certainly a power purchase agreement that deals with both the risk and appropriate returns for investors. And I can say to you and to South Africans that those returns are significantly higher than what you see in Eskom's current returns, and even what you see in Eskom's return after our MYPD price increase, because investors would want to firstly make sure they get an appropriate returns, and those are quite high, and then they must also deal with the currency risk, and that brings the risk of linking electricity prices to other currencies, and certainly those are fundamental issues.
High-voltage construction company Conco has handed over the new road substation in Midrand to City Power. Creamer Media gets a first-hand view.
People are always looking for extra power. Now, this is not actually generation of power. We're actually not making the power. We're just taking the power the generated power that's available, putting it in a place and then distributing it to the consumers. And that is what you need when you start a development.
New Road is a 132 11 kV indoor cellular substation, currently operated at 88 kV but ready for 132 kV changeover in future. There are 3 40 MVA transformer bays, a double busbar system, and 2 11 kV switchboards linked by through-wall busbars comprising 40 panels. Panels allowing remote control protection and supervisory features are present, which means that in future, City Power will be able to operate the substation remotely from its head office in Johannesburg. The latest safety and security features have also been included.
You know, one thinks of a substation as a piece of industrial land. You wouldn't normally find something like this built in the center of probably the busiest streets in Midrand, cornered by prestigious auto salons, a huge shopping center and everything. So it was interesting for me that we were able, first of all, that the council allowed such a thing to be built on such a prestigious piece of ground. So it was interesting how, to me anyway, how the people's perception changed as the substation grew, and then what used to be became and today you saw what was there. I mean, it really blends in with everything that's there. And we've had some good compliments, but they don't go to us. Obviously, they go to the architects and to the consultants that put the idea together. We're just the vehicle that made their drawings come true, that's all. And that's what I'm proud to be associated with that.
Transport company FanRide has collaborated with the Melrose Arch precinct and with the local taxi industry to provide dedicated pre-booked transport to and from South Africa's World Cup stadiums. Chanel de Bruyn has the story.
FanRide has trained drivers from the local taxi industry to provide foreign and local soccer fans with dedicated transport to and from the Soccer City, Ellis Park, Loftus Versfeld, Royal Bafokeng and Peter Mokaba stadiums during the World Cup. CEO Lima Mofokeng explains what this service will entail.
Transport is for the exclusive use of the people who have pre-booked it, with a dedicated driver and a dedicated host. So the owner is able to use a transport for up to 16 hours a day, not only to matches but also to other places.
The transport company promises safe and reliable transport.
That we have a very strict selection of the combis, and we have selected them in such a way that they will meet the requirements of the event license, and they will get the event license for the World Cup. That's one. Two, we have also vetted the drivers and checked them in terms of criminal records, and the Taxi Association has helped us in this. And then thirdly, we are training the drivers and we are training the host. And the fourth thing is that we will be putting up a cell phone based system that will help us to be in touch with our drivers and our hosts at all times. And also we'll have an operational center that has a 24-hour call center that would be in touch with our fleet.
And now for a sneak preview of this week's Engineering News magazine. In this week's cover story, we report that South Africa is backing Norway's $1 billion bid to advance carbon capture and storage. South Africa's electric vehicle pioneer unveils a 3-wheel concept car. And Gauteng's underperforming agencies face an overhaul that could generate yearly savings of 100 million rand. And in Mining Weekly this week, in this week's cover story, we explore how the JSE can advance from good to great. We report that Rand Gold and Exploration is back in business and keen to fill a perceived unfilled space on the current South African mining landscape. And a Chinese consortium eyes Aurora's Orkney mine as Anglo Gold halts services to the mine. That's Creamer Media's Real Economy Report. Join us again next week for more news and insight into South Africa's real economy.